Alright, I'm gonna tell the story of my most intense firefight. I'm gonna leave out a bunch of details for OPSEC reasons and just because that's what I'm comfortable with. I set this guy's loadout to be somewhat like what I had available to me and what I was using, but it's not really that close. I'll give you the backdrop. Well, I didn't have an SVD. I used one during the fight at one point. I picked it up, so I just had it on my back. And I had an AK-47 with iron sights because I was in with some rebel groups, or in with a rebel group, but it didn't have all this silly crap on it. It was pretty basic. It didn't have a drum mag, but I did fashion a cheek pad out of some tape and some foam that I found, but that was about it. Anyway, the backdrop is like I said, I'm in an indigenous rebel group, and we are assaulting a city, and we have U.S. Air support and also U.S. Special Forces on the ground supporting us, but they're trying not to take too much of a lead role. They're just supporting. And so we start on the outskirts. I guess I'll give a little bit of a prologue. About a couple days before, we were in a camp further behind, and we were assaulted by the enemy, and they had technicals, and it's not like they had anti-aircraft guns, heavy, medium caliber cannons by the sound of it. And there was a sandstorm, so they were trying to hide from air and UAVs. And so they would stick to the sandstorm, so as the sandstorm would move and clear up and get heavier, like you would just hear the gunfire shift, and it was kind of ridiculous and funny. But they never ended up getting through. And then the day after that, I headed up closer to the outskirts of the city, to a building, on the roof of a building. This is why I'm kind of on the roof. I couldn't find a good representation in this game, so this will just kind of have to do, and I'll explain what it looked like. Instead of the forward being down like this, it was the opposite. It was kind of inclined, so you couldn't see over the horizon a little bit up, but you could see the city here and the city out there. And there was a road here to the right, like there is here. Looked a little different. It had a sort of a raised road, so there was a little bit of defilade that could be used to conceal movement. I couldn't move around that much because I didn't want to risk being misidentified by the friendlies. But the first day we went up, there was already shooting. I was like, okay, what the heck's going on? So I make my way up onto the roof. I'm in a sniper unit, by the way. Well, sniper in quotations. They're not really like snipers that you would think of in a Western trained army. And so when we have a little bit of okay equipment, we've got like an M16 and a thermal scope and an SVD like you see. But I didn't get to play around with that stuff too much, except when they put me on guard, so then I would be staying up at night with the thermal. Those nights were cold. But anyway, so I get up there and there's shooting going on, so I'm like, oh cool. Finally making contact with the enemy a bit more. So I'm looking up there. I can't really see them. I just hear all the shooting. So it's just kind of like they're like, fuck you, get out of here. And we're like, no, fuck you. And I don't know. Kill them all! I hear a voice, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So I go over. I find this French dude that I had met earlier on, and we were just sort of like, hey, this is awesome. didn't think I'd see you again, you know. And so we're kind of having a little fun, and a round just goes by my head or my face. I don't know what it was. I was just like, whoa. And then I looked over at this rebel dude, and he was like, you know, I don't know what he jibber jabbered at me. Sort of like, oh, this is fun. And that was basically it for the first little night. I was like, okay, what are they doing? Just trying to scare us or test us or what? So that night, I'm guarding. You know, it's a long, cold night. I try to conserve the batteries on the thermal scope. Turn it on and off, scan periodically. So when the day comes, we leave. Okay, that was something, but it wasn't too intense yet. Other than that close bullet or whatever. So the next day, I come up. We do the same thing. I pull up on the truck. Party's already begun, I guess, or shortly after we arrive. I'm up on the roof again. And they start shooting. I'm like, oh, cool, again. We're going to do this again, right? And then, a short time later, I notice, you know, it seems a little more intense this time. And I look up, and now I can see movement. I can see people running. I was like, oh, what the hell? That's them. You know, I didn't see them last time. So it's like, all right, they've got to be making a move or something. I'm like, all right. And there was guys. There was, on my side, there was a little bit of cover on the roof. I mean, this building had been attacked times before, and it was really busted up, but pretty solid concrete construction. And there was cinder blocks, gallon drums, whatever cover was kind of pieced together, and then there was a middle thing where there was like a bunch of ammo and just sort of like the center hub, and there was a little peephole, and there was a little position over there that was just, again, just a peephole that dude was shooting for. There was no Unidad choppers, so just ignore that. But I mean, there was air support, U.S. air support. I mean, I saw UAVs, like Predators sometimes. When I looked up at the sky and I just saw this like fiery streak. I'm pretty sure it was a Hellfire. And then you just hear in the distance, I mean, they're just constantly just pounding every day. You just hear constant, like, well, not constant, but throughout the day, just precision strikes. Pretty awesome. But I had a camera on my gear too, and unfortunately on a later event I got shot and some of my stuff got stolen off of me. But that's another story. Anyway, so they're moving up on us, and there's like a rebel woman right here in the center. She's just kind of loading mags. She's looking kind of scared. I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand, because now they're getting up. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. And so I quickly grabbed. There was an SVD laying there, so I was like, whatever. I don't know what it's zeroed at. I don't care. So also realized that they chose to attack, and they did this both times, just at dusk. So they had the sun behind them. It was pretty smart. So it was like really hard to look at them and see them, like, especially through scopes. There's a lot of glare. So, you know, I'm lining up. I'm squeezing. I don't know where my rounds are going, what's going on. I can't tell if I'm hitting them or not. It's hard to see. I get up, I move to another position, you know, shoot. I'm like, alright, you know what, this just isn't working. I can't tell what this is doing. I'm kind of trying to crawl, because they are really laying into us a lot of fire. Suppressing. So I move up, and most of the cover was clear up to the front of this thing, but there was a little section of concrete left and a hole in it, so I was like, maybe I'll make my way up to that and sort of get a look. But then I look over here as I'm moving up, and a piece of chunk of wall over here got taken out by a bullet, and I was like, yeah, you know, no, that's not safe. That's not the best place. So I'm kind of crawling back and forth, trying to see what's going on. I'm trying to make sure everyone's watching their fields of fire, because I don't trust them. And I'm going over back to my position, looking. Okay, I don't see anything. And I've got a little bit of cover here. And what happened in the beginning, I forgot to say, what happened in the beginning is we hear reports of the enemy having tanks within the city, so I'm like, I don't know what to expect. And I look out into like this open expanse out this way, and I see a T-62 or a T-72 kind of far away, but it's pretty obvious and prominent. It's destroyed, I guess, by U.S. air support. And then out this way I see what looks like a truck, and I'm hoping that's like support for us, or maybe even like U.S. Special Forces, but I couldn't really tell. I just had little ghetto 8-power binoculars. Anyway, so I hear something upstairs, and then an explosion happens above me, like air bursts above me, like, boom, pop, and it was pretty big. I was like, but it wasn't really right above me to where it like hurt me. It was just like close, but not really close. And I was like, dude, well, that was definitely directed at us, and I don't know what that was. I was like, dude, was that a tank? I don't know. It's pretty crazy. So I'm like, there's a lot of unknowns going on here. And then shortly into the firefight, I find out what it is. They're shooting RPGs. I'm like, okay. For some reason, that one blew up over my head. And I see ahead, I could see them shooting. I see the back blast. I can see the line of smoke. Boom! It's blowing up near me. I'm getting the smoke and the dust and the blast overpressure. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell? This sucks. And it seems like they keep launching them. One goes over my head, just over my position, and they're clearly shooting at me in my position. I think only one hits like the center area, and they're mainly shooting at me. I'm like, dang, I'm not getting any love over here. And so I'm just getting kind of worked and suppressed and pissed off. I picked up an M16. It's got a little ghetto Chinese ACOG doing the same thing while they're trying to move up, shooting. It's got less recoil. But again, I can't tell what my rounds are doing. I don't know if I hit them or not, and it's kind of pissing me off. And now they've gained a lot of ground. They're moving quickly, taking advantage of their narrow window while they have the sun at their back before nighttime hits. So I'm like, all right, they're moving quick. So I'm like, okay, I know what my AK does. This is my trusty primary, and I zeroed it sometime before, so I have an idea of what the rounds are doing. And so I moved back here, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get into better cover. They're really shooting this area up and shooting me with RPGs. I'm just hoping an RPG doesn't hit my little area, my cover. And I get a glimpse. I'm starting to look out like through these little cracks. I'm like, okay, at least I can see without exposing myself too much. And then I see them. I catch them right out in the open. They're moving. They were booking. There were two dudes running right out in the open, about 50 to 70 meters away. No! Anyway, there's a trench a little bit closer, and I'm like, if they get to that trench, they're within hand grenade distance, and I don't want to have to use hand grenades because these things are ghetto and they might blow up in my hand because they're all old and Soviet, and I don't want them throwing hand grenades. So this is about to get really, really stupid. They're about to cause us some serious casualties. And the RPGs, like I said, they hit the building in and around me, and actually there was rebels inside the building. I could hear them shooting, and I didn't know it, but one of them had been injured by the RPGs, and apparently I knew the guy. I met him earlier, and I heard that he'd had his arm amputated because of that, and I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know he was there. They just evacuated him, I guess, while the firefight was going on. This went on for... It didn't seem like that long when you're in the situation, but it went on for maybe 45 minutes to an hour over in total. But I'm going to continue with the story. So I catch them running out in the open. Ooh, yeah, finally, a good... Well, I mean, I already had open shots earlier, but I couldn't tell if that did anything to them. So, you know, I'm just start laying into them. Shooting, like, not like frantically, like, but, you know, trying to stop them before they get out of that open. So I'm switching back and forth between them. I shoot one of them. He kind of like jumps in the air and hits the ground. Like, I think I hit his spine or something. Like it took his legs out from under him. And the other one's down. He's kind of fighting. he's got his arm up. He's kind of propping himself up, like he doesn't want to. They're just fighting, man. I don't know. Like they're on drugs or something. They're just having to shoot him over and over again. And then I shoot at this one guy. And I could definitely tell. I think I hit him in the shoulder, and I shot. And I had my ear protection in, my earplugs, and there was a firefight, and I could hear him. He just screamed, like clear as day. I could hear him, and he just flopped over dead. You know, finish them off, go back, and I'm like, yeah, you know, finally, we got some kills for sure now, and I don't know how many of them there are. They're good at hiding their positions and moving quick and suppressing us, and they got the sun behind them, but now we've got, you know, points scored for sure, and that seemed to blunt the momentum of their offensive. And then my rebel guys, they're taunting, they're yelling. I'm not going to say what they're yelling because I might give some away. And this pissed off one of them who was behind like a truck up there, and so he just starts shooting back with a machine gun. I can see it like a PKM. So like I see the shooting, I get up, take a well-aimed shot, get down. It was really close. I could see where the shot landed. It was really close. I might have even hit him, I'm not sure. But he shut up after that. And there's some dude kind of being annoying from like the city over there, just kind of, you know, shooting at us, and I could see some of the rounds impacting in the dirt. But he wasn't very accurate, he's too far away, and so, you know, I just kind of shoot at him and let him know, hey, I see you too, buddy. Cut it out. He was annoying. But anyway, yeah, that was. And then I see, you know, like these little pops in the air. I'm like, what the heck is that? And apparently it was. I'm pretty sure it's 40mm airburst grenades from the special forces guys. And like they were like way out that way, like really far, but they were able to support us. They must have had that thermal thing mounted on their. I think it's called like the M47 Dragon or something. The 40mm airburst grenade launcher. It's really awesome. But anyway, I was like, yes, finally, we're getting some real support. Somebody's finally coming to help us. And well, no tit for tat. And after that, that was about it. The sun went down, and a cold night came, and I was up watching pretty intently all night.
Who need that chopper? Stay low.
And it was a long, cold night, and I didn't see anything. I couldn't see anybody. Couldn't see any movement. I would scan and see the bodies of the guys I'd killed, and then I'd scan again. It looked kind of funny the way they were kind of lined up in the same way. So I was like, every time I'd see them, like they were facing the same way too, and it was like a direct line. Like it was, they were. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. But so then daylight came, and I'm back in my same position. I'm kind of looking up. I'm like, okay, they came out like hornets last time. They were pissed off at us. What are they going to throw at us today? And things start to kick off in the morning. Like as soon as sun hits,
Unidad headed this way.
like instead of roosters crowing, it's like gunfire. That's just how it is in this region. And that's what happened. I was kind of a prominent one on this side, and I don't know who else was over there, but like something round cracked over my head. I was like, shit, I get down, and they're in the same place. They're in the same area. I'm like, I was not expecting that. I was surprised and impressed. I was like, dang, man.
Soldier, how did you get that close to me?
A more accurate shot, and they just would have blown my brains out right there. And so the firefight continues. They're kind of, again, within about 100 meters, less. They're crawling. They're using the cover next to the road and by the trucks and by the berm over here, and they're doing a real good job this time at staying covered. But you know, we're returning fire, and the 40mm airbursts come again, and that's about it. They shut the hell up after that. But it's not over yet, because I look out into the expanse, and it's like really, really poor timing. It was like a minute after the firefight was over, and I just see this lone Mad Max truck just driving out, like way out there into the open space, and I saw what I thought there was the truck. I was hoping it was Green Berets. I was like, are you gonna do something about that? But apparently it was just an abandoned truck. So we're keeping track of this truck. I'm thinking, it's probably a truck bomb, but whatever. Just watch it. Watch back just to make sure they're not distracting us from another assault. And it goes all the way behind and then comes up the road. I mean, it's booking. And we got a guy with us with an RPG. And I was like, man, come on, please do not miss this shot. If you miss this, we're going to get blown up. It's going to be terrible. And luckily, I mean, I shield myself from the back blast. And he hits. First shot. I'm like, yes. But the thing, I mean, he got close. It was like probably to like where that cactus is. I mean, like 100 meters, 150 meters, maybe less. I don't know. Close enough that I could see a bunch of detail. And it didn't look like the truck had a bunch of armor welded to it or anything, but it was still close enough. You know, we shoot a few shots at it. Truck's on fire, kind of veers off the road and stops. And then it's just silence. And, you know, we're like, woo! You know, everything you throw at us, we take you down. We got a good position. And so I'm like, okay, now what, bitches? I'm pissed off. I'm kind of freaked out just because, you know, I got these crazy people trying to kill me all day and night, but we're doing pretty good so far. I didn't know that we had any casualties. They've definitely got a bunch of dead. And then I hear in the distance artillery. I just hear, and you know, in the movies, you know, you don't hear the shot. You just hear the. But in this one, I heard the shot. Like it was close enough. I just hear. It was just out of nowhere. I was like, "What the heck's going on? What are they shooting at?" You know. And then it hits the truck directly. Just an accurate hit. It must have been like an Excalibur or some kind of precision shell. And just, I was like, "Damn, man, that was close." And this truck raining down everywhere. And I was like, "Dude, that was awesome, but chill out. Give me some warning next time." And yeah, that was about it. Or a little bit later, I could hear another advance from the flank there. They were heading into the city. I could hear the shooting and the more artillery and air support. And, you know, by then, I mean, I had had enough action by now. I was tired of getting RPG'd and shot at. So I was good. I was pretty content. And later, they went up, brought back what the guys had, checked out the corpses. I mean, I watched them roll the dude over. The dude was like he was like solid, like rigor mortis. Like, it was kind of nasty. It was weird. Frozen bodies. But anyway, like earlier, like how the guys got there, I don't think that they crawled up and moved there during the night. I think that was the remnants of the night before, and they just didn't move or do anything, and they just waited all night and just surprised us the next day. So, I mean, these were disciplined enemies. They were good. And they were definitely prepared. I mean, they brought a backpack just full of ammo and grenades. Like, they were ready to hold this position after they killed us and took it. And these dudes, I mean, they had good tasty candy bars. One of them had this nice caramel candy bar, and I was just savoring my victory candy bar. You know, kind of sad, you know, he thought he was going to enjoy it, but here I am, eating his candy bar. But, fuck him. Anyway, so that's about it for that story, and, you know, I've got more, but we'll just stick with this one for now. Pretty long recording. So, let me know if you want to hear more. And, sorry I couldn't give you more details, but I don't feel like it.